Hello, folks. Welcome. Danielle, are you there?
I'm here.
There we go. Let's get started.
So if anybody did have any questions that they didn't post, if you could put them in the chat now, we have a special channel just for it called AMA Questions Channel. And there's instructions all the way at the top. So we can make sure that we get to it in time. There also will be a giveaway at the end. I think we might just announce it on Twitter though, because we're still figuring out the details on that. But that'll be 500 cats tokens. So make sure you get your questions in and everything so you can be counted towards that.
So, we're going to start with a little short introduction. I am Lorenzo, the founder and CEO of CryptoArena, and we're building something amazing. That is the first self-decentralizing exchange, as we like to call it, or S-DEX. That is a crypto exchange and securities broker that actually redistributes platform generated revenue back to its users using a game like points scoring system, which translates to you trade, you get points, and you get revenue from the platform's shares. Basically, the more points you make, the better your share will be. Further, over time, this amount actually increases from 25% to 100, and as a consequence of our unique self-decentralization process, by which we transition our own holding entity into a full non-profit over the course of time. I'm going to answer the first question real quick because I saw it earlier in the chat. Is there a time frame for this process to complete? Yes, and it's actually prefixed, and it's a key part of why we can guarantee the promise of our delivery. Our solution is actually a layer 2 blockchain deployed as a parachain of the Polkadot relay chain, which is its layer 1, and uses a custom consensus protocol that we've developed that is called PORD, called Proof of Revenue Distribution, which basically combines probabilistic finality and deterministic proof into proven finality. Now, these are very hard words to actually say that it's a blockchain that is used to guarantee that the distributions that should happen actually are happening as they should. This is a network composed of two nodes, watchers and counters, with very descriptive names, and even though it's a very complex system, it's actually quite easy to understand why it just works. So the watchers are oracle nodes that take snapshots of the transactions that go into the exchange's wallets and feed that data to the counter nodes. Now, the counter nodes add up the timestamps to recreate the exact ledger of all the transactions that have happened in real time on chain, on the blockchain. And because we can actually have all these transactions on chain and we know how much we need to distribute in the next period, we can compute an objective expectation of how much this should be. And of course, it's a blockchain, so you always have a previous block with the same information from the previous period and the numbers from the current one, which means that you can match the previous expectation and the current numbers into an actual proof so that new blocks are signed, verified, and sent to the Polkadot relay chain for long-term storage and for security purposes. This allows us basically to scale limitlessly offline while while guaranteeing 100% of the distributions that will happen throughout the self-decentralization process will actually be correct. So basically it's the exchange that gives itself away back to their users. Now, can we move on to by question, Danielle?
Of course. So the next question is, with the sea of new crypto projects coming in and out every day, what gap in the market does CryptoArena aim to fill?
Great question. So, as I said at the beginning, we are a crypto exchange and securities broker. So that means we are actually a regulated platform, and that's the main reason for our long time to market. We're not just a swap protocol, we're not just a Uniswap. On CryptoArena, you'll be able to trade any object of value, from cryptocurrencies, tokens, assets, securities, NFTs, you name it, pretty much. That also implies that we have to go through auditing with the proper authorities. We are in the Netherlands, so it's the IFM. We have to get licensed, MiFID license specifically, and we have to go through the SEC for the American market as well, which is all part of our plans, by the way. We plan to be available absolutely everywhere. So basically, the way that we're unique is that we're bridging the gap between the crypto finance world, the traditional finance world, and basically hard coding in a mission that is fully non-profit and that is fully reflective of the original values that launched this whole, blockchain revolution. We were all told that this was going to be the economy of the future, that it would involve everyone, but there's a whole lot of artificial scarcity schemes around. And basically, this wants to be the solution to that. It's infrastructure that is 100% geared to be for public benefit and self-sustainable.
I'd say you definitely answered that question.
Thank you.
Let's see. Now, question number 2. What is the reasoning to have 2 tokens for utility and security rather than one coin that offers both?
The economics of them. One is inflationary, the utility token, and the other one is deflationary. So we couldn't really do both in the same asset. So we've kind of separated utility and the actual ownership of the whole conglomerate. The utility token is very attractive because mostly of its main case, which is as a multiplier to the points that are functional to the revenue distributions from the platform. So it's basically the opposite of a discount token. Rather than getting a discount, you get a multiplier, which means you get more money from the exchange. While instead the security token is a way of guaranteeing our underlying mission while rewarding investors for the value of having to give up their ownership in the long term. Because of course, self-decentralization means 100% gets redistributed, no exceptions, not even me, original creator, no one will have any share of ownership once it's done. Which means that everybody does. And all of its revenue gets redistributed based on this game-like point scoring system. Does that answer your question?
Yep. I'm going to move on to question 3. What is the story behind the cat's name? How does the cats fit into the arena theme?
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose to people coming in now, it seems a little odd. So the cat's name originally started as chain agnostic tokens. It was meant to be a CBDC, if you would like a central bank digital currency type of coin that would go to replace the normal currencies that are spent everywhere. But we opted away from this path to go towards more utility token, and we decided to keep the name because of the way it matched the name of the security tokens, or at least the previous name of it. They were named Leo, and that was the fitting with the theme of the lions in the arena and the gladiators. And it also stood for limited equity option, which is very descriptive of the function that the security tokens actually have. So it was a little bit of circumstances, I suppose, and the fact that other projects launched tokens that were popular with the same name. Specifically, the Leos were launched by Bitfinex, if I'm not mistaken, and became kind of popular. So we had to shift around, and when we're actually ready to get to market, we have this name. We had to add an S because there was a meme token that was using cat, for example. So it's a bit of the difficulties that you get on decentralized environments like blockchains, because they're not name specific. So
It's one thing about working on a project for so long is you don't know who's going to pop up in the meantime.
indeed.
All right. Question 4. Is there a strategy to handle the community in the weeks after launch to minimize dumping? Is there a planned schedule of announcements or influencers?
There is definitely both. There's definitely a lot of plans. We are discussing with some big buyers that are interested in investing their tokens for a longer period of time to create a dump shield. We are talking with market makers to basically to use bots to compete with bots for the purpose of taking away the opportunity of the bot to do some damage or to interfere in general. And also there's the schedule. So the first thing what we're going to be doing within a few days, honestly, we're ahead of schedule, is to deploy a DAO, the governing entity, which is going to be the authority, and everything that can ever be minted goes through the DAO. So its minting process is locked for 2 years, in which time the release schedule will be completing. If you guys have gone to our documents already, you may have seen it. It's in tokenomics, cats tokenomics. It's the chart that you're going to see is very irregular. It's kind of odd looking, and the reason for that is very specific. Is that it because all the allocations are different and vary over time? It has a layer of complexity that most most bot programmers won't bother looking for. So it's a way of pushing away some easy, low hanging fruit, I want to say, but it's the opposite of that. It's to not be a low hanging fruit.
Yeah, well, and I will definitely say that we are speaking with a lot of influencers. So we definitely have, that part definitely down.
Oh yeah. Also, we have.
Question.
Sorry, I should
Go ahead.
also mention that we're also going to be launching fairly soon NFTArena. I can't give you a date yet because I'm still discussing this. We're trying to work with established game studios to cut time to market and to make it nice and pretty. It's basically an ERC 721 based PvP trading cards game in which you stake your NFT. It gets on our smart contract. It gets wrapped with the data attributes that allow it to be used in game, and you can buy or build a deck of cards and then go to play. There's 3 game modes. There's the very friendly one in which you can just learn how to play, get better, and whatnot, or just have fun. There's the competitive MMR based ranked play in which you are actually playing high stakes games in the sense that you can win NFTs from your opponent or you can lose one of your own as a result of the game. And then there's customization lobbies. You can change the rules of it. Think Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering kind of thing. Although this is still insider information, we haven't made this announcement yet. We hope to release this very soon. There's going to be the possibility of running a node yourself, decentralized and quite fun, really easy to play and hard to master is the principle that we're going for. So we're going to keep people engaged with this collection of NFT based games that will be eventually, while we develop the main platform, which has the main use cases of the CATS token, which are the multiplier, the competitive events, and etc. etc.
I'm going to move on to question 5. It says, can I exchange an NFT for cat tokens? And I'm assuming that they mean like the Leo redeemable tickets on this one.
If you mean the Leo itself, we haven't planned for this, but we might. Yes, I wouldn't suggest so. However, I have to say the Leo, the security tokens are more long term, but they're far more valuable than the cat tokens. So I wouldn't advise trading one for the other.
All right, question 6. What inspired you guys to create the CryptoArena platform? I personally love the idea of the ERC 721 based card trading game as someone who grew up with that sort of thing.
Fantastic, thank you. What inspired the idea? I was just an average trader on another exchange, which I'm not going to name, and they've had a maintenance and they've been offline basically for a week while the market tanked, and I lost so much money it wasn't even funny. So I decided to make my own because I was looking into crypto in those days. I thought I could do it better, and I had an idea, so I followed through. The funny bit is how the theme kind of came together. It's really how I envisioned it. In my head, it formed with swords and everything. Even though I was always thinking of finance, honestly.
All right, question 7. How will we be able to accumulate, excuse me, glory points? Will it be via winning events, general use of the platform itself, or providing liquidity?
Fantastic question. All of it. Any activity that bears a fee on the platform, or even in some cases, in some particular cases, even without a fee, if it generates value for the network of CryptoArena, it will give you an amount of glory points. Trading is the activity that gets you 100% weight of it, but stuff like referrals or or for example, cooperation and competitions, indeed, are excellent ways of getting a spotlight so that you may attract more investment from other users in you, and at the same time get more points. In general, it's a great way of incentivizing activity, I would say.
Question 8. Has the code been audited by a reputable auditing company to give investors confidence that CATS is rug-proof?
The CATS code was developed using Open Zeppelin contracts. They're pre-audited, so yes, audited by Open Zeppelin, and they're quite simple. The DAO itself is based on Aragon, so uses one Hive technology. Also pre-audited. It's just geared to our schedules for the purposes of releasing the tokens when the schedule does it. So yes, the only thing we really need to do as soon as possible is to deploy it down.
Question 9. Is there a projection of how long the self-decentralization process... Oh, you already went over that one.
10 years from launch of the platform. Exactly 10 years. Not 10 years in 1 second, exactly 10 years.
If you want to become a shareholder of the company via security tokens, do I need to go through a KYC process, or is it completely anonymous?
It's pseudonymous, which means that yes, you have to go through KYC, but your identity is protected by means of a generated proxy. You can turn this off, so publicly verified figures. Some people that are exposed to the public might have an interest in actually using their real identity. We generally advise against this, of course. But yeah, KYC is required for everything that isn't basic crypto to crypto, which means that KYC is required to accrue glory points, which are functional to the shares of revenue distributions. If you're asking me why, you would be surprised how much more difficult it actually is to give people money back rather than just charge them for it.
Question 10. If the listing CATS on Uniswap is on May 30th and the project will start running on Q3, how will you keep the price from going down and keep investors believing and staying in this project?
Well, we already have investors believing in the project that are willing to vest their tokens for a period of time, which is great. Further, we have the NFTArena that I was talking about before, which isn't part of the announcements, but will be of the announcement that are currently public, but will be soon. And indeed, it's actually a point that many people have brought up and have noticed, which I'm surprised with and positively surprised with, is the Uniswap listing on May 30th. You might notice it's a little long period for crypto projects to ask for a month. This is of course a contingency. We don't expect this at all. We ask for a month for the listing and 15 days for the DAO, but in truth, we aim to deploy the DAO within a matter of days. We're trying our hardest to deploy it before the end of the pre-sale itself. And the moment we have that in place, we're going to Uniswap. So it's going to be like 5 days, a week, so that Danielle can work her magic and I could get us some exposure, maybe, but maybe less.
All right. Question 11. What experience does the team have in the blockchain and crypto industry as a whole?
We are a bit of a scrappy team coming together. We've met at the Odyssey hackathon in last year, basically, and we won with the Nature 2.0 blockchain track, and we've been working ever since together on making this a project that comes together on every aspect, in which every screw is fine-tuned. An interesting aspect that wasn't asked, for example, is how the auditing works. It's going back to the ledger that is reproduced by our blockchain network. Through the watchers and the counters, we reproduce the ledger, and that ledger is audited by means of a generated key that uses ZK snarks. These are zero knowledge keys, basically, that match a layer of encryption around the ledger and report this entry in another ledger so that it's public. And this key is given to the auditor for the purpose of putting out public financial documents, so that you can basically see at any point in time that no 1 cent is out of place, essentially. What else can I say on this regard? I can say that we were bound to a clause by which we can't actually announce it to the public until we've delivered. We're working with some big companies, but we can't say their name until that's done.
I'm going to go on to question 12 then. What can we see in the near future for cats that has the project taken the necessary steps to be rug proof?
I think we've addressed this before. We have the release schedule, which is very slow, especially for the team. For example, you can check it on Docs Cats Tokenomics if you navigate, and we have a community that is we're making arrangements with, that is going to be vesting a large portion of token supply. And we're also talking with market makers to use bots to compete with snipe bots, and we allow that those tokens to flow back into the market. So we have 3 aspects to prevent rug pulls.
I think this is the last question we have so far, so make sure you guys are throwing them in there if you do have anything else that you haven't. But question 13, any more insights that can be shared about the crypto card trading game, its mechanics, or current TCG it could be compared to?
Yes. You can compare it to, I suppose, have you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever played the old Final Fantasy games, but it's comparable to the in-game trading card game of those Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX, these kind of things. So the difference is that instead of using the cards that are in the game, you can use your own NFT. So if you're an artist, for example, you can give your art exposure and to all the public that is playing the game. But also, the best way to increase its value is actually to try and get a rare wrapping. So there's different levels to the cards that you're going to be producing, and the level depends on a pretty complex calculation, which is still work in progress, which is why we haven't announced it. That basically combines the rarity of the NFT. So if it's a one-on-one, it has a greater chance of being a legendary card than if it's a 1 of 1 million, of course. And another really cool thing that you can do in the game is you can add wagers on top of a custom lobby game. So basically, in the custom lobby, you can modify the rules of the game to your leisure. There's several game modes that you can combine, and you can also change the amount of NFT cards that are traded as a consequence of the game ending. So you can make it an all or nothing. If you like to live dangerously, you can bet your whole deck of NFTs in a single game. On top of that, you can add wagers with CATS tokens, and the last one that we have is hardcore mode, by which instead of winning the NFT from your opponent, you actually burn it. All right. You burn 5, and you can upgrade the wrapping of one of the NFTs in your possession. So it's gonna be brutal in that case. What else? It's gonna be expanded in the future to include other kind of games, because we can use the same principle to just give it different data attributes to make them different types of cards. So one of the expansions I'm thinking is somewhere, think Hearthstone from Blizzard, okay, as a prototype. Oh, and another expansion that we're trying to make viable, that we are unsure if we're going to be able to make viable, is to make it 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 rather than just 1 versus 1. So a free-for-all mode. Do we
Yes,
have
I
any
personally am
questions?
very excited. Yep. I have one more on here. Could you go over some of the pre-sale information and details? Will there be a website we can go to? Is there a custom pre-sale contract or some other form of pre-sale through a launchpad?
There absolutely are. The contracts for round 1 and round 2 are actually already up. Chris, that is here in this call, was preventing me from sharing it for concern that people might send ETH to it currently, which would result in actually losing your ETH because it's not active. It still needs the activation transaction, which will happen, just before the allotted time on the 29th. About the rounds and details, yes. So the total amount of the crowd pre-sale is 15% of the total supply, and that's divided in 3 rounds. Round 1 is 3 million, round 2 is 4 million, round 3 is 8 million. These have escalating price, starting from the equivalent of 1 ETH is 50,000 cats, which boils down to 4 cents per cat in euros. We're in Europe, so everything is in euros. And it increases 20% per round. So it's 4 cents, 5 cents, 26 cents, which results in 50,000 cats per ETH on round 1, 40,000 cats per ETH on round 2, and 33,333 periodic 3 for round 3. Of course, periodic 3 until 18 decimals. It's crypto, so there's a lot of decimals, but it does end. What else about the rounds would you like to know? How they will happen, for example? It's simple. It's a very simple contract. It's a minted crowd sale. So all you need to do really is paste in the address of the presale and send ETH to it from your MetaMask wallet or from the plugin that we have on the pre-sale page, which is the page that I'm not allowed to show you. And that's it. You send the ETH, you confirm the transaction, and you receive your cats in your wallet.
Okay. We do have a couple more questions that have come in here, so I'll go on to the next one here.
Oh, how do you know we won't exceed the limits, the 3 million, 4 million, 8 million in each round? It's a minted, capped crowd pre-sale. There's there's a lot of clauses in it. Point is that there's only 3 million for round one. If you try to buy more than 3 million, the transaction will fail. So mind that. And updates on how much is left are shown both on the plugin on our website and on Etherscan. Chances are the data on Etherscan is going to be fresher.
Question 15. How will you market this project to possible investors who aren't as well versed in the world of blockchain?
Well, our security tokens, we're kind of jealous of them. If we can manage to keep as much as possible all the way until after the auditing, then we can raise our valuation by magnitudes. And if we can do that, we can have a much greater impact on launch and grow better from there. So we have a limited time window in which the company is actually making a profit for investors and holders, including myself, and that's 10 years from the launch to the completion of self-decentralization. So we want to make it as big as possible. And we don't really want. We were actually pushing investors away because we're trying to get to the big ones. Okay, I was at the European Blockchain Convention 2 weeks ago. I spoke to a bunch of people, including big companies, Morgan Stanley, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and biggest VC I've ever met, which I'm gonna keep private because they're very private people. But basically, we're trying not to attract too many people.
Okay. Question 16. What will set you apart from other trading card games such as Gods Unchained?
Well, the aspect that you can use your own NFT, and it can be any NFT other than gore, porn, or these kind of things. That's the only control layer that we were obviously forced to keep, because otherwise the game could be sabotaged very easily. Our connections to the NFT community. We have a superstar among us, and the fact that it's actually fun.
All right. Question 17. What stops champions from dumping on their patrons?
Oh, that's a great question. So we didn't actually cover much about the patrons and champions yet. If you don't mind, I'm going to start with explaining what it actually is before answering the question. So, patrons and champions is how we call our unique advanced copy trading solution. I don't know if you guys are familiar with copy trading. Copy trading is a crowdsourced based modernization of traditional asset managers. Like, in those old-timey movies, people used to call on the phone their broker, oh, tell me, buy that one. Basically, this is a modernization of that, in which you can do it through the platform and with less fees than an entry, a perform, and an exit fee, and with less of the hassle as well. Plus, having a greater amount of these people doing the expert-like trading means that there's a lesser incentive for the bigger ones to cheat, which is good things. Ours, we call it advanced because it's also embedded within the revenue sharing system of the whole platform, in the sense that cooperative trading, so using the copy trading solution, earns you more points than doing the same trades without the cooperative aspect. So we use this basically to incentivize cooperation and competition at the same time between users. It's literally within everyone's interest on CryptoArena to help one another. And patrons and champions are really cool. They're a non-custodial investing solution that works with very few clicks. It only takes 3 steps from either end, and both parties can initiate this relation. So the patron is obviously the copier, and the champion is, of course, as it's usually easily intuitive that it's the copy. And the patron just has to select a champion or post a custom request, and then negotiate the terms of his patronage agreement, which is of course the agreement between the 2 parties, and then just sit back and relax and let the champion do the work and collect whenever the targets are hit. From the champion side, instead, what you have to do is sign up as a champion and then post your service offering on the champion rosters, basically a list of the champions that promote themselves and try to attract investment. Or you can reach out to a patron that has posted his own custom request and propose your service privately. What you need to do is reach out to them, negotiate your fee, how much you're going to get out of trading for this patron, and then actually achieve the targets that are set. There are 3 fundamental conditions that need to be achieved. That's the target. So if basically a patron decides, I want you to give me at least 10% profit, if you don't get at least 10% profit other than your fee, that is, you don't succeed that interaction. That is a failed patronage, and that's going to impact your metrics, which unlike your identity, your metrics as a champion are public. So basically, as I was saying before, you're not anonymous, you're pseudonymous. You use generated proxies to hide your identity behind, but the exchange does know your identity. CryptoArena does know your identity, and therefore knows how who to tie your metrics to. So even if you're using a new proxy, the metrics from the previous tradings and the previous interactions still carry through. This is one of the main ways that you protect patrons from champions being malicious, because they would create a record of their being malicious. They would get very little points. They would have a very bad success ratio in their patronages, which means that they would have a very hard time attracting new investment. So they're shooting themselves in the foot. So can they create new accounts and spam us and try to trick us that way? No, because we know we have KYC and we know their real identity, and thus they have to provide us documents, identification. That was a long response. Sorry, I got a little carried away.
It's all right. We do have a couple more questions here. Question 18. If the transaction will fail if you go over cap, does that mean that my transaction may fail if I send my transaction towards the end of the round?
That is correct.
Does this lead to many small amounts being left over each round that people don't want to buy? Is there a plan for this?
It does mean that if say there's 100 totally fictitious numbers, there's 10 cats left, you're trying to buy 15, that transaction is going to fail. Yes, it does mean that. Is this going to mean that there's going to be little amounts left here and there? No, not really. We don't expect as much. In fact, we expect a lot of competition. There's been more attention that we could have imagined in the little time that we've been exposing ourselves, which is amazing. Of course, mostly thanks to Danielle and her star power. It's not going to be a problem, because if there are, honestly, I'm just going to buy them myself.
That's what I was thinking too, because it'll display how many are left. So there might even be a fight for the last 10 tokens, or whatever's left.
Yeah, indeed.
See, question 19. Do you plan to use streamers and gaming influencers to push things such as the NFT trading card game?
Oh, absolutely, yes. As I was saying, we're talking to companies both for CryptoArena and for NFTArena, because we have a pretty packed and tight schedule, so we're going to need some help. And yeah, influencers I think are the best form of marketing in the current year. We've tried in with several channels, and influencers were best. The results are simply difficult to compare.
And that was actually the last question that we have, unless anybody has one they want to throw in there. Oh, which wallet can I use?
Any Ethereum compatible wallet. Don't send it from an exchange. That's the point. Don't send ETH directly from an exchange account to the smart contract presale of the CATS tokens, because it's a custom token and the exchange itself probably will not even allow you to add it.
Yeah, and I would suggest probably whatever you use with Uniswap, since that's where we'll be listing it at eventually anyways. So, that's where you're going to want to have access to it. So if you use MetaMask or Trust Wallet or whatever for that, that's probably what you're going to want to stick to.
Yeah, MetaMask is quick and easy and works great, so we suggest that easily. Any more questions, guys?
We have a couple people typing.
We have lots of girls that like us a lot, which is great.
Looks like we have 2 people typing something here. Okay, do you view the CATS S-DEX as an eventual competitor to existing DEXs, or as something that simply exists in the same space?
I don't really see us as competitor to DEXs. I see us as competitor to centralized exchanges and to institutional exchanges more than DEXs. For DEXs, we're going to be building in Polka environment. There's Polka DEX coming soon, which already fills that spot for the environment, I would say.
Okay. Could you provide some more insights for the copy trading module? Prime XBT offers a module called covesting, which includes stop losses for copy trading, a feature which I really miss in eToro. Additionally, do you more or less the ratio of rewards that is given to the trader and follower?
I definitely know eToro. I did not know the other one. Can you make a note of that, Danielle, because I want to look into it. Ours is totally unique. It's our own system. It's built using zenroom.org. It's a tiny, secure execution environment that allows cryptographic primitives and zero knowledge interactions between the two users. So that's how it's non-custodial and anonymous between the two parties. And the real kicker about it is its domain serve DSL, domain server service language, DSL. It's the language of Zenroom, which is called Zen code, and this allows basically to make smart contracts in plain language, in natural language, in just English text. You don't need to code. You don't need to know programming to use that at all, which is a bit of a game changer if you ask me. What this means in practical terms for the users is that they get a list of textual clauses that they can mix and match to create an actual smart contract, which is then processed and rendered immutable for the trading relation in between the patron and the champion. Unlike other platforms that do copy trading, champions are open to everyone. There's there's no requirements for being an actual trader or a pro for it. The only thing that you're going to need to succeed as a champion is results to back your ambition. That's the only thing that the market cares for. If you can show that you make more money than a pro, guess what? People will want to invest in you anyway. And what else? We're trying to make it as an escrow system. which means that the money that you invest in a champion wouldn't actually leave your account in any case other than the patronage resulting in a loss of money. So if you have to cover the amount of money that has been lost, then that amount will be withdrawn. Otherwise, no money will leave your account other than the champion fee at the end of it.
So one thing that they mentioned in there that you didn't go over is if there would be a stop loss. Like if your champion that you're following is, losing money consistently, could you set like a stop loss to stop
Yes,
being their
absolutely.
patron?
There's three key conditions that must be present in every patronage smart contract agreement for it to be validated. There's actually one basis condition which is applied to every patronage ever, and that is success basis. So your champion has to return you money, a profit, over your initial investment. Otherwise, that patronage is considered failed in every case. In order to ensure this, the condition is that they have to return the initial amount plus an amount that is greater than the champion's fee plus half another champion's fee. Okay? So, which means if the champion asks you for $2 in fee from $100 patronage, in order for this relation to be considered successful, he has to return to you at least 103, which means that he needs to reach at least 105 for him to withdraw 2, so that you can have 103.
Okay. Do you more or less ratio?
Sorry. I didn't actually answer the question. I responded with another thing.
Okay, go for it.
The three conditions are the target, the withdrawal conditions. So at what point can the patron say, okay, no, you're not performing as you should be, I want to withdraw my money? That's also one of the key conditions that you can set and you can customize, and you need to agree with the two parties before it actually starts. That's the answer. Yes.
Additionally, what is the ratio of awards that will be given to the trader and follower?
The ratio is too soon to ask. I can't actually tell you. That's the most challenging aspect of the whole ecosystem that we're building, is the glory system, is keeping it fair and keeping it accessible, and making so that there isn't a ruling class that forms on the exchange that takes all the biggest shares of the revenue distributions. It's concerns to make it an economy that actually helps the people put more money into the platform, which in turn helps the platform give more money to the people. Okay. A way to describe this, I actually am using something I stole from mainstream media. There was, I believe, a German professor of economics on it that published an article. He called it Mario Kart economics. It sounds very silly, but it really isn't. Basically, in Mario Kart, the more you fall in the back of the pack, the more your incentives to getting back in the mass of the pack will increase in the form of the power-ups that you get along the way. Conversely, the more you're at front, at the top, the lesser your incentives, your power-ups are, and therefore the easier it is to get caught back by the ones behind. However, at the same time, this system not only allows for a scoop, basically, to bring back into the economy whoever falls back, but also it still allows for merit, for competition, and for performance to be the key driver of merit and of success. So basically, it's a fairer system, it's a better system, it's a self-incentivizing system in which everyone has better reasons to want to participate. Another metaphor to imagine this is a rubber elastic band. You know, here I have a hair tie here. The more you stretch it, the more force it has to go back to its original shape, essentially. If you imagine that in economic terms, it becomes support.
So that was the last question. That's all we had.
All right, that was 50 minutes. That was, I suppose, good enough.
I feel like we went over pretty much everything.
Oh, well, there's just more. I can think
There's
of
always more. A lot of stuff. We went over a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of stuff to go through, and I believe people will want to read through our documentation. It's on docs.cryptoarena.org. You can find basically everything there. Whenever I have the time, I add more information, I style a little more, I put more explanations. So comments about it, you can rate actually the pages and the content on the docs. Feel free to tell me it's terrible, so I'll know that I need to work a little bit more on it if you want to. We're going to be posting lots of announcements. Soon we'll be announcing NFTArena. I guess we could share the promo video that I've made here as insider info. Can we?
For it.
Do you have it readily available, Anil? Because we don't want to keep
I do not. I'm on my phone doing for this.
That's all right. Well, just follow our social channels. It'll be posted soon. I think we can, get on with the raffle and pick a winner. I'm gonna pass it on to you.
So I'm gonna take all of the usernames that were in here, and I will do like a wheel and record that and put that on Twitter so everybody can see that it's was done fairly, and then I'll announce the winner there. So make sure everybody is following us on Twitter.
All right, fantastic. Let's check one more time if we have more questions. We do not. All right, that's a wrap, I would say. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you everyone for coming.
Follow our channels. Lots to come.